It is 2/11/2022. It's almost mathematical. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Alfred Konuwa and NYC Demon Diva Issa tonight to talk about SmackDown and Rampage. Naomi main evented SmackDown tonight. It was a real freaking match.
Yeah, she did.
Beautiful. Awesome.
She killed it.
Unbelievable match.
Yeah, we got to talk about this
awesome.
because
I loved it. Yeah,
I want to be glasses half full about where they're going with all this. I mean, I think we've got a pretty good idea of the match we're going to see at Elimination Chamber. But yeah, I'm very optimistic about Naomi's future. I'm going to delude myself and say that I think this is going in a very positive direction, and she's not going to just be a supporting character in Ronda Rousey's story. But we'll get into that. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about Rampage. Hook wrestled tonight.
Yeah.
Chris Statlander said some shit. We'll dive into it all. But Alfred, apparently your mic is a little too loud. If you want to turn down that gain, just to.
Okay, let's turn down this gain. All right, testing 1 2. How do I sound?
How
do I sound now?
So it's a little loud. Yeah, just turn down the gain just a tad, just a hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about now?
That's good. It's good. It's fine with me.
Thank you, guys.
We're doing this live, everybody. This is how it happens. No retakes.
I do have a new pair of ear pods. They're my backups, and they're not very good. So that might be what's contributing to it.
Perhaps. I also want a disclaimer if I seem a little unenthused by some of wrestling tonight. I did watch the movie Major League right before watching SmackDown and Rampage. So everything is kind of a letdown after Major League. Just want to put that out there.
Nothing is a letdown after the Roman Reigns promo. I don't know what getting Goldberg means, but I want to get Goldberg.
Here's what I want to do, Issa. We need to strap you up like when somebody's taking a lie detector test. I want all your vitals monitored. And then I want to see not just your reaction video, but I want an on-screen display of like heart rate, pulse.
You know, I can at least get you the heart rate on my Apple Watch if I wear my Apple Watch while I'm like watching the promos.
You know, I'm sure there's a way you can AirPlay that to your computer or something and record that on screen. You need to start adding that to your reaction videos, your stats, your vitals.
You're probably right. I need to figure out how I can like monitor my ovaries as well. I should have said that while you were drinking. Sorry.
Yeah, you should have got the spit take.
I know.
Alfred, I think before we hop into the show, I think we got some news.
We do have some news, and WWE Super Bowl commercial is coming for WrestleMania 38 is going to have a Super Bowl commercial. Nobody really knows what it is just yet, but WWE will have presence there. We all remember that classic Super Bowl commercial during the Attitude Era, which was just, promoting the WWE product. But this is specifically promoting WrestleMania 38, which will be right here in Inglewood, California, as will the Super Bowl be. So if you know anybody who needs parking for $500, tell them to holler at me. My DMs are wide open. Issa, what do you think about the WWE Super Bowl commercial?
I'm excited about it. I mean, don't we watch the Super Bowl for the commercials? Like, there's a lot of things that we watch the Super Bowl for, right? Of course, we watch it for the football, but you cannot say that the commercials are not entertaining. Now, there have been a little bit of a letdown the past couple of years. Like, I can't recall like a highlight commercial, so I hope they kill it here. And I have the perfect combination. You start the video with Bad Bunny singing on top of his truck, right? And then the back of the truck opens up to Roman Reigns wearing those red pants that he had on tonight, by the way. And that's it. That's the commercial.
That's all we
need. No Brock Lesnar?
No Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to be tamed down for a Super Bowl commercial. You know? Oh, you know what? You can. Okay, no, I take that back. You have Brock Lesnar just sitting there watching everything, drinking a Coors Light. If you know, you know.
Yes. I just watched that promo, by the way.
Oh, I love that promo. That promo got him so much heat.
I love it. Love it.
So some breaking news. Apparently they're taping SmackDown tonight.
Yeah, they're.
Cover your ears if you don't want to be spoiled.
Spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Sami Zayn is your new Intercontinental Champion.
No!
Hey! Good for him. He deserves it. I was watching that segment tonight. Like, that guy deserves to be champion. I hope they let him wrestle with it and defend the belt, but good for Sami Zayn.
Oh, Johnny Knoxville's taking that off of him at WrestleMania.
Wow, really?
I mean, where are they going with this? No, but where are they? I mean, good for Sami. Look, Sami should hold every title. In fact, is this his first? He had the IC title before, right?
No, he's had this title.
He
before,
had it.
Absolutely.
Remember when he came back from Canada because of the pandemic?
That's
when
right.
he came back from Canada, he was still claiming he was, even though Jeff Hardy had it because he dropped it, because he couldn't travel and all that.
But
I actually love that storyline between him and Jeff Hardy, like both of them having that. And then we got that amazing ladder match. Remember, I think it was AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
That was when the IC title was hot.
Very
so,
good.
Aside from the NXT championship, this is the only title I believe that he's held, correct?
Has he been tag team champion? Didn't he win that with Kevin Owens? I don't know. Actually, maybe not.
No.
Yeah, this might be the only one that he's held.
Cool. Love Sami Zayn. This is a hell of a week for him. His favorite group, Operation Ivy, had a little bit of a reunion the other night, doing a song live to the song that was his favorite song that used to have the lyrics printed on his tights. First that happens, now the IC title. Everything is turning up Sami.
Going deep with Sami Zayn. I love it.
Yes. So, spoiler for now. Why do we even need to do a podcast next Friday now? I mean,
yes. Let's just cover it right now. So now that you have the spoilers, stay tuned for us covering SmackDown from next week.
So what else is going on in the news?
What else is going on? $350 per parking spot, by the way. Hit me up. DMs are wide open. Dynamite drew its best number since September, 1.129 million. That's up 18%. They did 541,000 in 1849. They did great numbers. Of course, it looks like all that promotion for this big mystery signing got people interesting. I think most people knew it was going to be Keith Lee, so that is a little bit of a feather in his cap for him. I thought it was a great debut that he made, but they also had a world title match in the main event, that Texas death match between Heyman Adam Page and Lance Archer, which I thought was fantastic. A lot of talking on this show, a lot of people comparing it to Raw, but I mean, I thought the talking was very good, so I never have a problem with that, but a lot of talking, which is interesting if you correlate that with the number. It looks like that more WWE style of booking with long promos that set up matches is working in terms of AEW's rating, because they're way up from what they did last week when they were sub 1 million. What do you take away from these numbers, Glenn?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if they start aping more of WWE's style and then they beat them in the ratings?
It'll be hilarious and beautifully ironic.
The answer is a happy medium. And there we go. Now I can have both AEW and WWE fans mad at me at the same time saying I'm a shill for the other company, but the answer is somewhere in between.
Yeah.
You know? So no, good for them. Good for AEW.
Yeah, I did think this show had a lot of buzz going into it. Everybody was talking about it. I mean, Tony Khan did a good job hyping it up. He did the podcast round. Everybody was waiting for the debut. I did think it was a great debut for Keith Lee. I was very happy to see him. There's a moment when he came on, the camera just showed that smile on his face, and it was just so wholesome to just see him back doing what he loves to do. So we'll see if they can keep it up. I don't think I ever doubted that they will get a little bit of a spike, like a rating spike from this episode. It's a matter of, can you keep it?
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. And I've seen that look a lot in AEW, especially from former WWE guys when they debut, that like sigh of relief that they're just kind of in greener pastures. But good for Keith Lee. He looked fantastic, and they really do need to keep it up with him. Finally, it looks like Tony Twitterfingers is not running for Congress, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Khan is not running for Congress. F what you heard. It looks like Mr. Khan is very angry at Pro Football Talk, who ran with the story that a lot of mainstream media outlets picked up that suggested that Tony Khan, who is registered Democrat with the Federal Elections Commission, I believe, there was a story saying that he was considering a run for Congress. Tony Khan took to Twitter and he said the fact-checking standards for Pro Football Talk reporting is far lower than that of AEW's roving reporter, Tony Schiavone. I'm definitely not running for Congress. This filing is faker than Eddie Gilbert's apology to Tommy Rich in 1984. PFT sources as trustworthy as the MJF. So a little reference bingo for those of you who won. Congratulations. But yes, Tony Khan is not running for Congress. Does that break your heart, Lisa?
Absolutely. Imagine his tweets if he was running for Congress. Oof.
Oh.
No, I thought it was funny. I actually thought his comeback was pretty good. But it wasn't Pro Football who read the story, and they even added him later on, and they were like, bro, this wasn't even our story. We're just picking up what everybody else is saying, you know? The funny part is if you go and look at this registration that people got a hold on, it was so clearly fake. Like, I think the address was like the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium. Place of work was like All Elite Wrestling. Like that, it was so fake. Why would anybody run with that news story?
Yeah. But as Trevor Snook in the chat's pointing out, his name being in the news is a net positive.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Especially a main story like this. If I were Tony Khan, I would wait a couple days before responding to something like this. I would want this to kind of pick up in the news cycle until I shot it down, because this is all just positive press for AEW.
And he can show up backstage at AEW and have like a Secret Service detail. And I mean, they work this entire thing, right?
He can't do that because he has beef with the news channels, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, particularly Fox News.
There's so much storytelling and so much more money to be made in pretending that you're running for office than actually running for office.
Oh, yeah. And his tweets are very presidential, like in terms of the aggression on Twitter. He could be a politician.
Yeah, which president exactly, Alfred? Which presidential by what standard? You know?
Oh, you know.
Yeah. So what else we got?
That is your news, ladies and gentlemen.
It's all that happened this week. It's the entirety of the news.
Yeah, pretty peaked with the whole Keith Lee thing. That was a very busy news day, but now we have to restart the cycle, and it's back to being slow.
Yes.
Good.
So tonight we opened Sonya Deville finally facing consequences. Adam Pearce coming out and saying, if you interfere in Naomi's match tonight, your job is going to be in danger. She tried to fine Ronda Rousey $100,000 and suspend her indefinitely. Just nullified. She has no power. She's been abusing her power. They just noticed this now. 180 days that she's been messing with women in particular on the roster. Now you mess with Ronda Rousey, that gets Vince's attention. That's the message we're sending.
Well, if I may, I'm going to put my conspiracy theory hat on just for a second. Humor me. This is a conspiracy theory. These are just theories.
Just be careful, Alfred. Just be careful, Alfred. Conspiracy theories got Brian Kendrick fired. Just watch it, okay?
They did. Let's hope. Listen, these might get me fired. Who knows? Let's find out together. I believe, not that I believe this, but I theorize that I find it very odd that she's, been running amok for the past 180 days, like Glenn said, but it wasn't until that picture came out with her and Anthony Bowens at a GLAAD event posing together that now her power is being taken away by one Vince McMahon. I find the timing of that to be very interesting. And if you look at the picture between her and Anthony Bowens, he's smiling, he's happy, and she's got this look on her face like, I'm going to get so much heat for this. And it looks like that's what's happening, but that's conspiracy theory, Alfie. I don't really think that, but that is a conspiracy theory of mine.
I personally... No, I was going to say I popped for the email from Vince McMahon because there was a line in there that says, is there something I don't like? Is WWE authority figures abusing their power? I laughed so hard at that. I was like, no. I personally didn't realize how bad I wanted to see some retribution until Naomi finally just slapped her. And she went all in with that slap too, man. And the crowd just loved it. I'm glad to see people are still invested in this storyline because I thought they were going to start losing people's, attention here because it's just taken so long for Naomi to be treated fairly. I was very happy to see this.
Now that she can't do anything to Naomi, I want WWE.com every day. I want her to roll up to Sonya's house, tomorrow and pretend to be like Uber Eats or something and then just smack her in the face again. Like she's out shopping just from behind Naomi, smacking her in the face. Like we need one of these a day for Naomi to finally balance out the injustice that has been served.
Yeah, we need to bring back that amazing 24/7 segment that they did in the plane on the way to Saudi Arabia. Like I want to see Sonya Deville sleeping under the cover, and Naomi just sneaks up to her and just slaps the crap out of her in the plane on the way to Saudi Arabia. I will pop for that.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Can't get enough of it. So this was great. And Naomi tonight looked like $1 million tax free.
Oh yeah, great night for Naomi. Yeah, I love that. I think that it's so funny because the week that, I think we were all at our wits' end, I personally said that I was done talking about the storyline. So, like, just when I felt like this thing bottomed out, like the last 2 weeks, they've really kind of salvaged it. I think they've done a good job finally making Naomi look like a competent babyface. It's all this really needed.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Can't get enough of Naomi. I really hope they use this to build. But again, with the way the show ended, I just worry she's going to be a supporting character in Ronda's storyline rather than use this as a springboard to give her a real main event push as a single star.
Yeah, I hope not. But I mean, if you look at WrestleMania today, I know we have some time to go, but Sonya Deville and Naomi is one of the top storylines in terms of them building toward WrestleMania. It's one of the only ones that's had this long-term build, and you see the crowd was into it tonight. So if they do a good job building up an actual feud for a WrestleMania match, that should be a standalone match that isn't part of anybody's side storyline.
I agree. I mean, I hope it gets the time and the placement on the card it deserves. This is perhaps, aside from next to Roman and Brock, this is like the longest story they've told continuously, right?
Very much so. Might even be longer than Roman and Brock, to be honest.
Yeah. So there you go. It deserves everything.
Well, there is a hashtag already going around. It is hashtag Naomania. Please use it. Let's start the movement. We made it happen with Kofi. Let's do it for Naomi too.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
This could really be the start of a movement for her. I really felt that way when that match ended tonight, where I was like, that felt like one of those performances that you're just like, this could really be the beginning of something. The way the crowd was there for her, everything. It really could mean something for her. I believe in that too, Glenn. You're not the only one.
This is the exact same position Becky Lynch was in, where Ronda versus Charlotte was the best laid plans. That was the match they wanted to go with, but Becky became undeniable. So yeah, you start that Naomi Mania hashtag, and she becomes undeniable. They'll have no choice but to add her to that main event.
I agree, and that's what I'm saying tonight. I don't think they booked that match as the start of Naomi Mania. I think that was not their intention, but I hope that is the outcome.
Yeah.
Based on what we saw tonight. So, hey, if you loved it last week, Los Lotharios wrestled the New Day tonight. It was a good match. I mean, the match wasn't the problem. Los Lotharios winning, I mean, it is. It is what it is.
Big E and Kofi.
So we're basically
not the New Day.
Yeah. I was just going to go on a rant too, Alfred. Like, so you basically quietly just move Big E back to SmackDown, back to be part of his tag team that we cannot even name, just to like job to some Menudo rejects. But don't get me wrong, I did think they had some good chemistry in the ring. I thought the match was fun to watch. Like, I mean, you have 4 talented performers there, but who cares? No one cares, and that's just sad.
Yeah, and nor should they with a new act. WWE, they showed, again, they do this all the time. They showed with Naomi that they really are capable of building up a competent babyface. But then you see something like Aaliyah, what they did that we'll get to later, and it's like they have no idea how to create new stars. So if the guys is, Los Lotharios need this big win, well, I've seen this movie enough time to know that they're going to flame out after a few weeks. And so Big E and Kofi Kingston losing this tag team match, when really I think they should both be in the Elimination Chamber, I think is going to hurt them more than it's going to help Los Lotharios in the long run, because Los Lotharios, judging by how WWE books new talent, will not be here in the long run. So I just thought it was a big mistake to put them in the tag team kind of undercard in this way, and I just don't understand what they're doing with this feud.
Let me take a moment here, Alfred. This is just for Issa and I. Issa, could you imagine in Puerto Rico, parts of Mexico, and perhaps southern Florida, if there was a tag team that had a Menudo gimmick and came out like with the headbands, and they're doing Avalar and Kiara Rock, and they're doing the dance moves to like Fuego and stuff coming to the ring? That would be really over with a very small subset of wrestling fans.
If they don't come out on bikes to Súbete a mi moto, come on. That's a WrestleMania entrance right there.
True. And with the vroom sounds, they have actual motorcycles. It'd be great. Oh my God. Okay.
I don't
Back to
understand
that.
these references, but I agree.
Alfred, you need to go on the YouTube and watch Menudo from the 80s. Don't watch the whole episode of Silver Spoons because that's a very problematic show in hindsight. But watch the Menudo segment on Silver Spoons. Like that.
100%, okay.
Solid stuff. Solid stuff.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, good stuff with the Menudo. But yes, Issa, now I think that every time I see Los Lotharios. But here's the thing. They're talking about Viking Raiders backstage. Oh, we got this momentum going ahead of our match with the Usos. I mean, why aren't the Viking Raiders kicking the shit out of Los Lotharios?
What momentum?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Why aren't they out there like using Los Lotharios to springboard for the Viking Raiders to give them actual momentum going into Elimination Chamber? You know?
I have no idea what they're. You're thinking maybe the Viking Raiders have a picture with the Acclaimed out there, and now Vince is mad at them too. But they've got nothing in this feud. They one of them, I think it was Ivar, got squashed. No, it was Eric got squashed last week in singles action, and they just get jumped like out of the blue. And these are the baby faces, and so I mean, chances are, knowing WWE, they're going to go and win in Saudi Arabia. But this is just baffling booking of the Viking Raiders. I'm not saying they're like a top tier tag team or anything, but they're very talented, and we could have seen a couple of week competitive feud between these two teams, but they're not building it like that at all.
Yeah. It is interesting.
No, as soon as they got squashed by the one Uso, I thought that was done. I don't care about that match anymore.
As soon as they got squashed by the Uso, singular.
The one Uso versus the one Viking Raiders. Can't tell neither of them apart.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Judd. So, see, Alfred, that was just for me and you. The Judd reference.
I like that.
Terry Allen Jr. 246. Wish Cesaro was Universal Champion. Imagine. Wows. I mean, I don't think that's in Cesaro's future. And I say this, I've been at an event, I've held up a Cesaro section sign that I printed, went to Kinko's, made copies of, and handed out to other people in the audience. So I am down with Cesaro, but come on, that ship has sailed.
It really has. It sailed in 2014. They had a small window in 2014 when he won that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. He's never been hotter. And then I just think putting him with Paul Heyman was a mistake because a lot of people tend to crumble under the weight of Paul Heyman, especially if you're a newer, unestablished guy. You got to be a Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold Steve Austin level of talent, Roman Reigns level of talent to have Paul Heyman as your manager. And when that happened, Cesaro, it just got exposed him.
You literally need to be able to pick up Paul Heyman to not crumble under the weight of Paul Heyman.
And not be John Heidenreich or Ryback.
So, Issa, tell us your experience watching this Roman Reigns promo on Goldberg.
I'm going to tell you my experience. But listen.
I
thought it was great. Did you see the red pants he was wearing?
Yeah, come on, like really, okay. Let's dress it up. This is like, a letter to, this is like a, dear Penthouse Forum. I never thought those letters were true until I had an experience the other night that happened to me. Now I'm going to tell you about it in painstaking detail.
Roman Reigns was sitting there in his amazing leather chair, wearing incredible red pants that hugged his muscular body, all of it, right? Legs spread open. Paul Heyman is behind him. Michael Cole got a haircut during this. I appreciated that. I actually noticed that. And first of all, Michael asked him, he's like, hey, Goldberg has won the Universal title twice. So has Roman. And then he's like, oh, well, he beat Brock Lesnar. So has Roman. Can you do your job and ask some relevant questions? Like, how do you get all of that in them pants? That's what I wanted to see Michael Cole ask Roman Reigns. Not, come on, let me do the interview. At the end, Roman Reigns just stared at the camera. It's getting hot. I need to turn the AC on and said he's going to Goldberg. It was amazing.
Excellent.
Issa, I think I have your new gimmick for your wrestling reaction in addition to your heart rate. I think you should narrate everything, in very vivid language and lurid details to recap what happens on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW.
Goldberg. I want to get Goldberg by Roman Reigns.
That does sound a little like a euphemism. Like, I'm going to smurf his smurf. It's just like, what? Yeah.
Or it could be a spear. If you want to be Goldberg, it could be a spear.
Yeah. It was a good promo.
It could be.
Excited
It could
for
be.
this.
I thought it was really good. I think
It was great.
Extra
Alfred-
large spear, it could be a magnum spear. I thought this was very good. I thought Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns is crazy because they took all these weeks off and then they just returned with better chemistry. I like them playing off each other the way they did in that backstage segment. And I love the line Roman Reigns had. They were talking about Goldberg's win, and he was like, all the wins that Goldberg had. He's like, if I was in WCW, everybody would be winning because they'd still be in business. That was an amazing line. And so, listen, I'm excited for Goldberg Roman Reigns. I think this is going to be a hell of a match. We were robbed of it last year. You know, I know he's not the most popular person. He's pretty polarizing among the hardcores and whatnot, and I understand why, kind of. But I'm excited for Goldberg and Roman Reigns. I think they're going to have a good match.
Yeah.
Quick match, hopefully, but a good match.
Okay. I'm just gonna. You know what? I'm gonna feed off your positivity here, Alfred, and try to think of Goldberg's last performance in Saudi Arabia and not the ones prior to that, because I just hope it's a quick match, and I want him to put his career on the line so bad, and I want Roman to retire.
And let's make Goldberg as a verb happen. Alfred, I think at Applebee's, you need to incorporate that into your spiel, you know, and it's like, hey baby, you want to get Goldberged?
No, in the waiting room, who's next? Who's getting ready to get Goldberg? Who is next?
Who's next? Yeah, exactly. That's what they'll say on the tickets. I love it.
In case I haven't made it clear, it was an incredible segment by Roman Reigns.
Yes, you did it justice. I didn't think anything could do it justice, but Issa did. I want to see Issa interview Roman Reigns. She has those interviews up from Royal Rumble, which were very good on our YouTube channel. I want to see you interview Roman Reigns. I don't think anybody could touch that.
It would be fun. The first time, listen, we're going off topic here, but the first time I ever met Roman Reigns, he asked me about my Ladywood, because I made a Roman Reigns gives me Ladywood hashtag, like it got super popular, and he liked a few of the tweets. And the first time I ever met him, he said to me, he's like, "How's that Ladywood?" And I'm like, "Well, if you must know."
Did you tell him how it was, or did he?
He said it to me, but I have been tweeting it for so long, and this was back when everybody hated him, so I was like triggering a lot of people on Twitter, you know. But Roman Reigns is awesome. He even knows about Roman. He asked about Little Roman. That's what he calls my dog. So I would love to.
Oh Jesus! I'm really not engaging in this.
Come on, it's right there for the taking.
So, I'm talking about my dog Glenn, my dog Roman, okay?
Dog Little Roman.
So, dungeon style match.
Thing. I think I could restrain myself. If I interview Roman. I don't know about my dog. I think my dog would actually bite him. Just saying.
Oh wow.
Wow. You think you could restrain? Say that when you're asking WWE PR for the interview. Say, I'm pretty sure I can restrain myself. They'll appreciate that in the request. You know?
As long as you try your best, we'll let you talk to him.
Oh, good Lord. Dungeon style match, Aaliyah versus Natalya.
How is this a dungeon style match? Somebody explain this to me. Did I miss something?
It could only end via submission or
is that what you thought this meant?
I mean, what did you think it meant, Alfred?
They were going to go to an actual dungeon. They were going to be in a lion's den, which is what they've done with Owen Hart. And when she said it, and they talk about the dungeon all the time, I was expecting a goddamn dungeon.
Me too. I feel robbed. I want my money back.
Yeah, between that and Goldberg not appearing live, I would be at the Ticketmaster right now asking for my money back. Where were they tonight?
And you're calling up websites showing up. There's a dungeon in New Orleans. I mean, I don't want to get into what kind of dungeons are in New Orleans, but there's some dungeons in New Orleans. I'm sure they could have rented out.
They should have.
Yes. Anyhow, the match was okay.
This, by the way,
You really
think about this?
Okay, hit me. What did you hate about this?
Is just garbage. She's supposed to be this baby face who's maybe, getting a couple of quality wins over Natalya, but all of her wins have been tainted as a baby face. And then we're going and doing this match where now she has to kind of prove it and beat her unequivocally, no pinfall squad, and then she loses in under 5 minutes. So, and she's also now the setup to Xia Li. It's like they were specifically designing this quote unquote push for Aaliyah to completely destroy her. This was a big waste of my time this past few weeks.
Yeah. Xia Li came out and attacked Natalya like she was a crooked landlord. Just all the rage, all the rage from her childhood unleashed on Natalya.
The landlord.
Yeah. Well, I was honestly looking for the video of Roman's promo during this, so I didn't pay attention.
That's good. Around this time I was like, what if I put a corn dog in the air fryer?
As soon as I didn't see a dungeon, I wasn't gonna watch it.
Yeah. By the way, corn dog in an air fryer, delightful. Very, very different than you think. Like almost a little like crispy tasting. I used to like a Morningstar Farms like vegan corn dog, but it was very good. Like the texture of it was very different. Very nice.
Give me an air fryer.
Well, so I got the Cuisinart. It's actually a speed convection oven, so it's got the different settings, but the convection and the speed convection are like the air frying. But the speed convection, you don't have to preheat. You just hit that button and do the time and the temperature, and bam, 5 minutes later, it's done. It's kind of nice. Allison Tuckwab, thank you so much for the $4.99.
Hey, thank you.
Super sticker. Appreciate it. So after this very nice package on WWE Hall of Famer Rocky Johnson, narrated by his son, The Rock. Yes. Alfred, what did you think about this?
That was excellent. Soul Man Rocky Johnson. I was talking about him this time, Black History Month last year on NPR. I love Soul Man Rocky Johnson, and The Rock did a great job voicing over. Who knows if that means there's going to be something in the future, because this is the first time that The Rock has voiced promo for WWE in years, and not that I know anything, but maybe that means it's going to lead to something else.
Issa? Oh, Issa, do you have thoughts on the promo?
She's still thinking about Roman Reigns.
Oh, I understand. It happens.
Apologies.
What's that?
No, I thought it was very well done.
If I want to be a little conspiracy theory with it, Alfred, I think it's almost they can't get The Rock back, and they figured, well, he can't say no to this.
Right. It's a good way to get him on television and kind of hold his feet to the fire. It's like, well, because that is how they got him to return for the Hall of Fame. That great speech he did. I believe it was in 2007. Yeah, in Detroit. Where he inducted his father, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, into the Hall of Fame. So a big family man, The Rock. We all know that. And he would never turn down an opportunity to promote his legendary father.
Yeah, and I love Rocky Johnson. I love hearing The Rock talk about him. But yeah, it does seem like because he's been absent for so long in WWE, it was, a great opportunity for them as well to be just a little cynical about it. And Issa, I'm not seeing your video on the Oh, there we go. Let's see. Issa has a connection, but there she is. And it was very good. I recommend watching it online. So Sami Zayn with another edition of Insane. He's going to do his podcast and dumb it down for the locals, and then interrupted by Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura. We did see some footage of Johnny Knoxville. I mean, this is going to be a Mania match, probably for the Intercontinental Championship now, given what happened tonight. And it's crazy to me that with Rick Boogs, he's been built so much. It's kind of. I'm glad Sammy's the Intercontinental Champ, but I really did think that the Rick Shinsuke breakup was the money feud for that championship. So I wonder what's going to happen now.
Yeah, I mean, if they did it correctly, they could have a good feud, but they haven't done anything with the Intercontinental Championship. So I'm glad that Sami Zayn won it. From what I've heard, spoiler that something like that might have happened.
Hey, Alfred.
I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying if he wins, I'm glad that it'll happen.
So, after this promo segment, Cesaro versus Happy Corbin. Happy Corbin's undefeated? How did I miss this?
Yeah, they haven't told us that. It's so funny. He's not been booked like a guy who's undefeated, but I was shocked when I heard that. And the fact that WWE is promoting that he's undefeated tells me they're going to build him up for something. So it looks like it's probably going to be Happy Corbin and Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
But very interesting with Happy Corbin being undefeated. Good on him.
The match we all want to see. Yeah.
Which night of WrestleMania does that main event? Which night of WrestleMania does Happy Corbin versus Drew McIntyre main event? 1 or 2? I'm going 1.
The pre-show.
Oh, wow. Well, backstage, Drew McIntyre was there with Madcap Moss, who was injured, talking about how bad his eyesight is. And there's going to be a Falls Count Anywhere match at Elimination Chamber between the two of them. So there you go. Goldberg had a rebuttal to Roman Reigns. And Issa, how did Goldberg's rebuttal work for you compared to Roman's promo?
I think Issa's connection might have been Goldberg.
Might have been. Alfred, how about you? Alfred, I want you to have the same enthusiasm and passion, because we need to balance this out. I want you to have the same enthusiasm and passion for Bill Goldberg's promo as Issa had for Roman's promo. I think it's only fair.
Okay.
Yes,
just
Alfred,
to balance
please.
things out, I thought it was a decent promo. I don't really remember all of what he said, but I do remember he said, "You can't Goldberg a Goldberg. I'm the only Goldberg." And I agree. There's only one Goldberg. So you cannot Goldberg and the only Goldberg. He will still be Goldberg. And I predict Goldberg.
Why does your impression of Goldberg? Why does your impression of Goldberg sound like Red Fox?
Dummy.
Which I'm not complaining. I actually think that would be brilliant. Brilliant character.
That's my impression. All my impressions of Goldberg sound like Red Fox. That's from now on. That is what he's going to be. He's going to be the Red Fox voice for Goldberg. Straight on. He does kind of sound like, he does have that raspy voice.
I'm just glad that they did this promo somewhere else where there wasn't a picture of a naked baby in the background.
Every time they show that, I think about in the film version of 21 Jump Street at Jonah Hill's house, where they have the childhood photo of him as like the baby with the angel wings.
Yeah.
So no comment about Goldberg's pants or what he was wearing, or
His head looked very shiny. I thought he looked fit. He still continues to be in tremendous shape for, I believe, a 55-year-old. So Goldberg and Roman Reigns. I think Goldberg wins in 10 seconds. What do you think, Issa?
Wait, what did you say?
I think Goldberg beats Roman Reigns in 10 seconds. Do you agree?
I hope nobody buys a parking spot from you.
You don't mean that. Take that back, Issa. $350 per spot. Anybody in the Inglewood area for the Super Bowl? They might have already gone. I haven't even checked yet.
how far are you from the stadium?
2 miles from the stadium, ladies and gentlemen. 2 miles.
Like half an hour walk at a brisk pace.
Within walking distance. You could take a Uber or whatever, but
That's the key. But you're gonna have to walk back. But the good news is when you're 2 miles away, you get to the car, you're not gonna be in traffic then because you'll be far enough away from the traffic.
Exactly. It'd be much better.
Absolutely. So that brings us to tonight's main event, which Naomi versus Charlotte Flair tonight. And what a match. What a match.
One of the best
tonight.
TV matches of the year.
I thought probably 4 times that Naomi could actually win this.
That's what made this so great. They did a good job roping me in. The crowd was so into Naomi winning that title. And it's like you look at this from the outside looking in like, okay, Charlotte's going to face Ronda Rousey. There's no way Charlotte's losing. And that's the mentality I went into this match. I just thought that, between how Naomi's been booked and the fact that we know it's going to be Charlotte and Ronda, Naomi's probably not winning this match. But they did such a good job as this match progressed through a couple of commercial breaks that they had me roped in. I was thinking this might be the night. Maybe they could flip it back to her. They could do something else. But I thought both women were incredible in this match. I put this up here with the Hangman Adam Page, Daniel Bryan matches. I thought this was very, very good. It was of the level of one of the best TV matches that I've seen.
It was so good. And in fact, I was almost of the opinion where I was convincing myself, you know what? Charlotte versus Ronda doesn't need a championship or a title. It's personal. They've got history. There's so much there. I was really believing that perhaps we were going to see Naomi win the championship tonight. And of course, disappointed they didn't go that route, but clearly they are getting a major match at Elimination Chamber based on what happened afterwards tonight. But this was so good. And this just proved once again, Naomi, in terms of the audience being on her side, and I'm just going to put this out there, and I know there's going to be contingents and fan bases of other female talent when I say this, but I think Naomi is the most consistently over women's wrestler in all of SmackDown. And I mean consistent in the sense that she shows up, she doesn't take lengthy time off. The audience is always behind her. They're always on her side. And she can go from having these nothing matches to being in the main event seamlessly and with a credibility and versatility that very, very few other performers on the roster, male or female, have. I just think she's absolutely incredible. And she's been women's champion twice. I think it's time for a third go around. Charlotte Flair is a very gifted athlete. And I understand you're saying, a heel shouldn't have the audience on her side. I don't even think Charlotte can make the audience that angry anymore, because I think you respect her talent and what she does. But if there's a weakness in Charlotte Flair, it's that once they took Rick out of the equation, I don't think they ever did a great job of getting the audience emotionally invested in Charlotte. Whereas that's something that Naomi has 100 times over in terms of connection with the crowd.
I think they can. I think she can turn people against her just because of what people think she stands for. She's like the establishment. Everybody knows that she's quote unquote the golden girl with WWE in terms of their favorite talent. And I think a lot of people really believe that Charlotte Flair is given preferential treatment because she's a Flair and because this and that. And the more she leans into that, I mean, that's one of the reasons she calls herself the Opportunity, is playing on that idea that you need Charlotte Flair in order to make yourself a career or whatnot. But I think if she tries, they could really turn her, especially the more she wins.
Issa, what did you think of this main event?
I love this main event so much. They have such good chemistry. I thought that Naomi was going to win so many. I love seeing the crowd pop for Naomi. Yeah. I mean, it was everything. It was absolutely everything. As soon as I saw how much time they were giving them to, I was really happy and just excited to sit down and watch these two women work. And they really just brought it. One of the best things we've seen in SmackDown in quite a while. This has nothing to do with whether the crowd likes Naomi or don't like Charlotte. These two women went out there and stole the show tonight, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And but this is what I worry, because after Charlotte leaves, Sonya attacks Naomi, Ronda comes in. That's the problem, is that you can't put Naomi and Ronda together. I mean, but again, I want to be optimistic. My optimistic view is this will further elevate Naomi, not in terms of the audience, in terms of creative. I think Naomi is actually going to get Ronda more over with the crowd, and that might be why they're doing it, because they realize Ronda's not getting the warmest reception. She's getting a pop, but I don't think fans know what to make of her. Is she a babyface? Is she a heel? And pairing her with Naomi does almost more for Ronda in the long run than it does for Naomi.
Yeah. I 1000% agree. I think Naomi's going to help Ronda.
Yeah. Hopefully they get their own thing. Hopefully this was just like a one-off in terms of Ronda and Naomi kind of crossing paths, and they spin off, because Sonya and Naomi, that's a feud that they can cultivate to a WrestleMania match if they don't screw it up, which is a big if. But yeah, I think it would be a waste to just put her with Ronda and Charlotte. I don't think they need that.
Well, but I mean, it's a certainty, correct, that we're going to have Naomi and Ronda versus Charlotte and Sonya at Elimination Chamber.
Possibly, yeah. Maybe Elimination Chamber, maybe on a TV, Raw or SmackDown to keep those ratings up. That's possible. Sounds like more of a TV match to me.
I don't know, man. Kind of crazy how quickly things change, and this idea that we're going to have Becky versus Lita, a women's Elimination Chamber match, now possibly a third match. I mean, that's a lot of female talent being showcased in Saudi Arabia.
They're on the billboards now too.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I thought that was awesome.
Oh, absolutely. So this match was great tonight, and I'm going to say it, even though you know the outcome, if you didn't watch this tonight, watch this match. It was excellent in-ring storytelling. So many hope spots for Naomi. And they really got to showcase. They have very good in-ring chemistry together as well, which I would say that Charlotte has. Sometimes Charlotte's matches are the Charlotte show, and she could be wrestling a broom and put on the same match because she's got her repertoire, as it were. But with Naomi tonight, they had a very excellent back and forth. I think Naomi is one of the best opponents in terms of in-ring chemistry that Charlotte's ever faced, where there was really an ebb and a flow rather than just a showcase for her incredible athleticism. Zachary, $1.99 super chat. I'm over the Sonya Naomi feud. It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. See, I think it's like the Simpsons gag with Sideshow Bob stepping on all the rakes, where it was ridiculous and then it went on so much longer than that. It actually became great again.
Yeah, they really committed to that. No, I think it hasn't been the best feud. It's definitely had its bad moments, but I think it's on an upswing for now.
Yeah. So let's talk about Rampage tonight. Taped live this past Wednesday. The Young Bucks versus Roppongi Vice with Orange Cassidy. What did you think of this match, Alfred?
I thought it was incredible. I thought it was very, very good. I thought it was a lot of fun. The Young Bucks did a good job with some of the tag team shenanigans they were up to, like trying to get them counted out. I thought that was a fun spot, running away from them and then super kicking them. But I thought this match was really good. They worked very hard. These are two teams that they're building up on commentary for the New Japan bona fides, which I thought was a little weird. But as we see the Forbidden Door and whatnot, I do expect AEW to work with New Japan more. So I think this is more evidence of that. And this is a really fun match. I think it was every bit as good as that CM Punk Ambrose FTR match, which is an incredible match too.
Wow. Issa, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. There was a lot of really good tag team wrestling on Rampage today to open and close the show. I'm kind of here for the Danhausen just randomly showing up in the ring and commentary just completely putting him over. I completely lost when Jericho starts saying, he'll curse us. I don't know why I found that so funny. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Great tag team wrestling. You can never take that away from these two teams. Actually, from the entire show, those were my two favorite matches, the opener and the closer.
Yeah, and that's what Rampage does so well. They really know how to start strong and they really know how to finish strong. It's the ups and downs in between sometimes where we can get lost along the way. And it's amazing how Orange Cassidy, they use him in almost this cameo capacity because I feel like he's the most surefire pop that AEW has. They can just have him walk in the background of a segment and he draws attention. In fact, I think based on tonight, I think Danhausen could be the next Orange Cassidy in that way.
I said the same thing in my column today. I said the same exact thing, is that the way they're building up Danhausen, it's very similar to Orange Cassidy, where at first it's like he's doing cameos and people love him, but they're not giving you too much. So he is like the next Orange Cassidy. Great minds, Glenn.
Yes, there you go. I would try and read Forbes, but every time it tries to tell me to disable my ad blocker.
Disable your ad blocker. Listen to him.
For nothing.
Forbes pulling up on you.
Oh, man. Great work you're doing at Forbes. So Young Bucks won this match. we had Cutler getting close to Cassidy, Orange Punch for his troubles. The Young Bucks took down Cassidy. Beretta gets in the ring. Jay White appears out of nowhere, hits a Blade Runner on Beretta. Like, this was a stacked opening to the show tonight.
Yeah, very much so. I really had fun watching.
It was
really good opening.
What did you think of this promo backstage?
Yeah, I was gonna say it was stacked, but it didn't feel like clustery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not too much outside interference.
What did you think of Bryan Danielson backstage and Matt Sydal and Lee Moriarty and Danielson? Like, the way they were talking was very charged. It reminded me of that SNL Fast and the Furious parody they did, where like there was something almost like seductive about the way they were talking to one another.
Throughout this was something seductive about him saying that Jon Moxley and CM Punk was a one-night stand and I want a long-term relationship. Like, these guys, this should have been on Skinamax, this segment. Like, they were flirting with each other. Everybody involved in this segment was flirting with each other. So, shout out to them. I thought that was good. I can't wait for Bryan Danielson and Lee Moriarty. I think that's going to be fire. And I really like this kind of angle of Bryan Danielson recruiting Moxley, because you would assume that they're eventually going to feud down the line and maybe Moxley will turn him down. That doesn't necessarily mean Moxley has to turn him down immediately. Part of this storyline could be them working together, building up guys like Lee Moriarty and Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia, and then they come to a head maybe later on down the line. But I like this. I like this Bryan Danielson and Moxley feud.
Yeah. I wonder if they did that intentionally. Danielson's sense of humor seems like sometimes he wants to almost see what he can get away with without someone breaking, and I felt like there was a little bit of that tonight.
Definitely. This is what he used to do all the time with Talking Smack. I think that's part of what made Talking Smack so great. That, and because Renee Young is funny and she'll roll with the punches and know how to deal with stuff like that. And so they made a good team. And Bryan Danielson loved saying things outside of what he knows WWE wants him to say, just to get a pop. I thought he was always good at that.
Yeah, it was a little performance art tonight, but I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
Zachary, interesting comment, 499, saying if they paired Danhausen with someone dark like Cross, it would be amazing. I think he has a lot of potential. Maybe he can join the House of Black. It fits him. I don't think they're playing Danhausen as, I mean, like Danhausen with Malachi, it just seems like two separate universes.
1,000%. I think they should keep them as far away as possible. Maybe if they cross paths, they can do one funny comedy segment. But even though they kind of take on that same gothic, dark type of ethos, they're completely different. And Danhausen's comedy, and I like the fact that he's with the best friends, but he just kind of wanders around and does his own thing. So I just think you keep those two apart, because Aleister Black or Malachi Black is very serious, and Danhausen is very funny.
Did you ever watch, I know we talked a little bit about Kids in the Hall before, but did you ever see the Kids in the Hall Pit of Ultimate Darkness sketches with Simon Mulligan and Hecubus? I mean, the whole thing is evil, that's their whole thing. Danhausen reminds me very much of that in a great way, but yeah, it's just not, it's not the same as what they're doing with Malachi. Danhausen is not a horror movie. He's more like Svengoolie, he's like the guy hosting the horror marathon.
Absolutely, yeah. And he does a good job at it.
No, he absolutely does. So Issa's having internet issues where she's at in Puerto Rico. She apologizes. She's going to skip the rest of tonight's show. But yes, Trevor saying, maybe like a Danhausen's Sting pairing. I mean, but Sting is kind of versatile that way, because I think Sting has a little bit of tongue-in-cheek approach. Like, he takes himself seriously, but Sting is not as dark as Malachi.
Absolutely. And I could see, even just because they have their faces painted, I could definitely see Sting and Danhausen. The thing with Malachi Black is he's kind of a cult of personality unto himself. It's like he's not of this world. He's more like the Undertaker. So you don't really want to see him do too much of that comedy, because it just doesn't mesh with the type of character he plays. But Sting, even though he doesn't do comedy, I could absolutely see him with Danhausen. Him, Darby Allin, and Danhausen teaming together would be a lot of fun.
See, but I think not Darby, though. I think Darby needs to go back to, speaking of Ultimate Darkness, I want to see the Death Wish Darby that we were first introduced to. I think they've gotten away from that a little bit, and I really liked that about his character.
Yeah, I really do miss Darby when he was a singles. I think him and Sting have been good together, and they're a good tag team, and he's really getting the rub from Sting. But Darby as a solo act was really good as well.
Yeah. We had AEW Women's Champion Britt Baker versus Robin Renegade tonight. And wouldn't you know it, Dr. Britt Baker DMD won. Defeated Robin Renegade.
Yes. Good showcase for Dr. Britt Baker. Renegade, I believe, is a student of Thunder Rosa, so they have that tie-in.
Wow.
And she was wearing a pair of Jordan 11s, which I very much appreciate. Greatest basketball shoe of all time. And I thought this was good. This is good on Britt. I like that they made her look really strong, and I like that they played up the Mercedes Martinez Jamie Hayter thing, and then she just brought her together like her daughters and kissed them on the forehead. I thought that was really funny because they're both these like badass heavies almost about to come to blows, and then she just goes and kisses him on the head like a godfather. So that was really great.
Yeah. And Thunder Rosa then running down to the ring, plowing over Rebel, taking down Baker. Man, we talked about this. Like, I really think Thunder Rosa could be the one to take that title off Britt Baker.
Yep. I fully expect it. I mean, I don't think it's too early. I think it's just about right. Thunder Rosa remains very popular. And if the story you're telling is like Britt Baker's ducking Thunder Rosa because Thunder Rosa has her number, this is another way to advance long-term story. Because what AEW likes to do is they'll have their feuds, but then they'll have these long-term narratives. Like with the Elite and the Undisputed Era, the Elite is the overarching thing where they continue to find each other and find each other's paths. So this is another long-term story they could tell, like an anthology between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, where it's Britt Baker's never beaten Thunder Rosa, and eventually maybe she'll regain that title by finally beating her. But I think Thunder Rosa wins that match.
Well, so we followed that with this promo interaction between Leyla Hirsch and Chris Statlander, and I cannot believe this was pre-recorded and made it on the air with Statlander saying that not only is Hirsch unprofessional, but she understands why Hirsch's parents would give her up for adoption. What the fuck?
Chris Statlander getting spicy.
Like, is Chris Statlander a heel? But
no, that's so wild. She's a baby face. It's so backwards because she's a baby face, but she's the bigger person. She's a big, stacked, very fit woman, and Leyla Hirsch is very small, but she's a heel. And then Chris Statlander delivers a line like this.
Like, I think MJF would even be like, "Dude, that's fucked up." Like, that's
no, not MJF, but most people maybe.
No, MJF would say that to somebody, but not if they were actually adopted. Like, I think that's how MJF would do it.
I don't. MJF in character, the fact that he remains in character tells me that he's just going to choose violence every time.
This to me was like J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, like level of just mean. Like, this was really, really messed up. And again, this was pre-recorded. Like, think about what they fucking did with the Acclaimed and all the bullshit there. And Tony's going to review in the future all of the lyrics that Max Caster comes out and raps. And meanwhile, Chris Statler out there wearing alien makeup, lit, shot, edited, drops this. And TK is just kind of like, oh, yeah, that flies. That's good. Get that heat.
Yeah, but heat on the baby face. This is completely backwards.
I mean, I actually think AEW is going to have to respond to this. I think this is going to turn into...
Really? I don't think people are going to have... I mean, it's just kind of like a scripted thing that they say. These are the type of lines that you hear. Like, if they have to respond to this, then they're going to have to answer some questions as to why they haven't responded to some of these MJF lines, which I think have been, every bit you could argue as bad in terms of calling people's moms metheads and whatnot.
I don't know, man. Remember when the movie Orphan came out? Which, by the way, if you've never seen Orphan, like, don't read anything about it. Just go and watch it because bonkers, crazy. One of the best horror movies of the 21st century. But there was a line in Orphan where the orphan character was like, I understand it's hard for parents to love an adopted child as much as their own children. And they had to edit that out of the movie. Not only the trailer, but the movie, because people were like, you can't fucking say that. That's really fucked up. You can't put that out there into the universe. So I don't know, man.
We'll have to go on Twitter and see if she's trending. It might not be for a good reason.
Yeah, it's just weird. But again, this was edited. This wasn't live. This wasn't a hype mic situation where somebody just shot on their opponent. Like, That's the part of this that's crazy. Is this made it through somebody wrote this down and said, I'm going to say this. And then they shot it. And the camera person was like, that was good. And then the editor was like, that was good. And then Tony or a producer was like, let's put it on the air. That's the crazy part, that nobody said, do we want to do an alternate where maybe she says something that's like not quite as messed up? Just so we have a choice in post. And they're like,
I'm
no.
sure your real parents are fine people.
Yeah, like it needs to be this, you know, like this, like specifically. Tony Khan's like, fuck orphans. Like, I want to let them know.
And he's like the opposite of an orphan.
He's like the Daddy Warbucks. That should be the storyline. Tony Khan is the Daddy Warbucks who adopted her. It just writes itself.
Yeah, I love it.
I've seen the musical Annie far too many times. Zachary, $4.99. What are they doing with Mercedes Martinez as Britt Baker's hired muscle? It's almost like the recycling Wardlow and MJF as his muscle. Hey, man, there's only so many different storylines you can do in professional wrestling.
Yeah, they're doing that storyline in fast forward, if that's what the case is, because I don't expect Britt Baker and Mercedes Martinez to be together for very long, but that is pretty similar what they're doing. But they were then again doing that with Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. So AEW loves those big man, little man storylines.
So we got Hook tonight versus Blakely with QT Marshall. When did it become QT Marshall as opposed to QT Marshall?
It's always been that.
Really?
He's always been, that's his name is Marshall. I know it's easy to assume it's Marshall, but he spends a lot of time correcting people that it's Marshall.
It's kind of like a Stefan
From the podcast,
Urkel.
Matt Morgan told me that.
Yeah, it's kind of a Stefan Urkel sort of situation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Sounds fancier. Hook won. How are you feeling about Hook?
Loving him. Every week I love him more, and I think they're doing a great job with him. I like how he is just this kind of stoic guy who doesn't, even as they said on commentary, doesn't really bask. He's just very much like what Taz was, but with a little more charisma in terms of how he really connects with that crowd. And there's also a sense of irony to it. But I think everything they're doing with Hook is perfect, except the camera the last few weeks has missed when Hook, after his match, steps over his opponent disrespectfully. They need to start capturing that and make that part of his act. They need to make that a thing where Hook steps over, because he's been doing it, but they don't always capture it. And that's a very Allen Iverson 2001 NBA moment, one of the greatest moments in NBA history. And Hook stepping over his opponent in disrespect could be one of those kisses of death that could help make him into a star.
Nightmare Knee, $2 super chat saying, I'm adopted. I thought the same thing. LOL.
Oh, wow.
Very weird. Very weird.
Very
you know, but maybe it's a situation because it's the Friday night show that they're just not paying as close attention and scrutiny. This probably wouldn't have flown on Dynamite, but on Rampage, you know, they had to get that edit done Thursday so everyone could take Friday off, turn the tape over to TNT. Who knows? But no, with Hook, I think they're very smart, and these matches never go on too long. They still haven't acknowledged that Taz is his father, right? But they keep making references to his biology.
Oh, really? Have
DNA.
they? I mean, I think...
Have they acknowledged it? Because I feel like it's always sort of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge every time they say, like, oh, I wonder who he gets that from.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, because they do. I think they have nodded to it, but I don't think they've ever formally announced on air that that's Taz's kid.
Yeah, I don't know. But Hook is becoming, okay, now Edward Cousins is saying they have, but it's not over the top. It's not like his thing,
right,
as it were. But I was going to say Hook is probably top 3 homegrown success story of AEW so far.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, especially because it has translated to merchandise sales. He's now got some new merch out, so we'll see how that does. But he outsold CM Punk in merchandise. That's a big deal. And CM Punk was #1 for a very long time, pre-AEW, because he's always had a PWT store. So CM Punk from Chicago, that helps, and him being a big star helps. And the fact that Hook outsold him and continues to do well with merchandise is saying that it works. Again, more with less, accentuate the strengths, hide the weaknesses, and they're doing that with Hook.
Eric Rothwell saying he was with Team Taz the entire year. Yes, but I don't remember specifically. Nightmare Knee, $2 super chat saying they did acknowledge it in commentary. It seemed really subtle. He's not out there. I mean, compared to like Billy Gunn. What I'm saying is they're not out there. I want to see Taz out there like Lainey Kazan in Beaches, like a stage mom, like Taz out there doing the gestures and like, no, lock him up like this and just coaching him through it. That would be a gimmick.
It's money.
Yes.
That'd be great. It's just pantomiming on the outside.
Yes. Sean Wiley, $5. I think Hook's going to fall out with Ricky Starks because Taz going to want to give him the FTW title or see what's that there? Or see Killer Cross against. Like, what's going on with Killer Cross? Do we know anything about that?
I don't know. His contract just expired, so he's been doing some dates, and he's back out there. Got a full head of hair, so who knows? Maybe he will show up in AEW. They have a lot of people. They are releasing a lot of people, or they're expiring a lot of people this year, so maybe that will make some room for people like Killer Cross. But I could see him in Impact, but I could also see him in AEW. And I like the idea of Hook capturing the FTW title. I think he should chase the FTW title. That should be the first title they give him, is that he chases that FTW title to honor his father. And then a Hook open challenge for that title. I mean, it's unsanctioned, but maybe they could make it into something if he has Hook do an open challenge and just kill people week after week.
And Cross is going to be at MLW at the next Super Fight, as the chat room's pointing out, coming up in a few weeks.
Yes, it was big news for MLW.
Major hype tonight for Wednesday's Dynamite. TNT champion Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Santana and Ortiz. A no DQ match, Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa. Face of the Revolution ladder match, qualifying match, Wardlow versus Max Caster, and Bryan Danielson versus Lee Moriarty. And next Friday's Rampage will have Face of the Revolution ladder match, qualifier with Dante Martin versus Powerhouse Hobbs, and Trent Beretta versus Jay White. The main event tonight, tag team champions Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus with Christian Cage versus Colton and Austin Gunn with Billy Gunn. Ass doll was a word that was used tonight. Throwing him around like an ass doll. I don't even know what that is. Don't want to know, to be honest. But what did you think of the match? While we ponder what an ass doll is, what did you think of the match, Alfred?
It was a fun match. Issa was talking about it earlier, and I agree. I did like this match. I like the ass boys, and I think that's the descendant of the ass dolls, because they're really pushing this ass boys thing where they want the fans chanting ass boys, and I think in a matter of time they will be. But these guys there's something there. They're kind of funny. They entertained me tonight, and this is a big spot for them. The biggest match of their career, undoubtedly, for a tag team championship, and in the main event. And had I not read the spoilers, I might have fallen for that near fall where there was a belt shot and the ref distracted, and that crowd definitely fell for it. So I kind of regret reading the spoilers, because I might have thought that the match would have been over at that point.
It's tough, man. Think about the society we live in with, going to see Spider-Man or Scream opening night because you don't want to get spoiled. You want to experience it for yourself. Yeah. With TV like Yellow Jackets, you have to watch it right when it airs because you don't want to get spoiled. It's weird with professional wrestling that AEW is embracing this era where your entire program is less relevant simply because we know the results ahead of time.
Right. Yeah, especially the base that watches. Most of their viewers are hardcore viewers who know where to get these spoilers and have probably already seen these spoilers in terms of the dirt sheets. So that also hurts. Yeah.
This is a very good match, but knowing the outcome, well, and I didn't think the champions were going to drop the titles tonight. But
right. Yeah, that's the thing. They did a title change on their first episode when Christian beat Kenny Omega, and I think every now and then AEW on Rampage should do a title change just to spice things up and make you think that there's a chance these titles could change hands.
Zachary with an interesting point, $1.99 super chat, saying Darby can't lose his match against Sammy. He's taking too many L's.
I don't know. I think Darby can afford to lose that match. I mean, Sammy just dropped that title, and I am really hoping that Keith Lee wins that Face of the Revolution ladder match and then beats Darby Allin for it, or Sammy Guevara for it. And it would be tough if they flip the titles from Sammy to Darby and then Keith Lee or whatnot. But I think Sammy should have it for a little longer and then flip it to Keith Lee.
I mean, Keith could launch Darby into the third deck of most arenas.
Onto Mars. We may never see Darby Allin again if he tried that.
He'll literally, yeah. He'll hit Sting up in the rafters with Darby.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a great spot. They should pull it off.
Oh, man. How great was Keith's debut the other night?
I thought it was amazing.
So good.
Superstar. He looked like the biggest star in wrestling.
Absolutely. This was a good episode tonight. It went by very quickly. I think the matches were fun. Yeah. Don't know what Chris Statlander was thinking with that promo. I know what I know what Daniel Bryan was thinking with his promo. That was pretty obvious. Daniel Bryan was thinking, Issa is so worked up after that Roman promo. We need to take this up a notch. We need to really just take this up a
notch. Tune up that tension. Let's do it. But I like this episode of Rampage. This is a good episode. I thought this is the best episode in a while.
Yeah. Zachary Buck 99 saying, so turn Sammy heel and let face Keith win.
Sure, but I think Jericho's going to turn heel out of this Inner Circle breakup.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Turn Sammy too if you have to.
Jericho was like a little restrained on commentary tonight. He was at a 7, not his normal 12.
Yeah, he's good. He's hit or miss. I don't think he's always bad, but Jericho has a good ceiling, but a very low floor in terms of the worst that he can get on commentary. And this was good Jericho.
Sometimes it sounds like he was just pounding Rockstar energy drinks all day and lifting weights and then going on commentary. So no, it was good stuff.
Scream everything.
Yeah. Cool. Well, you can find Alfred at This Is Nasty on Twitter. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. Issa's at NYC Demon Diva. That's Diva with a 1. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. Monday Night Raw coverage is happening Monday night. So tune in for that. We'll be back Tuesday for NXT 2.0. And have a great weekend, everyone. We will catch you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care and